wanted to at least share my ideas before I got too entrenched in this encounter today. But all right. Perfect. All right, Ms. M. Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Israel's Ambassador to the U.S. and the UN, Gilad Erdan, will deliver a short statement.
Good morning, everyone. I must say that I am thrilled and inspired to be standing here at such an iconic site that encapsulates the civil rights movement in America. It was here that Martin Luther King demanded equality. The events that took place on this bridge have inspired countless people in Israel and, of course, everywhere around the world. They have inspired me. Over the past two days, I have gone through a personal journey, listening and learning about the history and incredible contributions of the African American community to this country. In Charleston, I looked into the eyes of people whose ancestors suffered as African slaves. I felt their pain. And here in Alabama, I'm learning about the struggle for equal rights. What I have seen has moved me profoundly, and I hope it will allow me to better engage with the community and build stronger ties on behalf of the State of Israel. It is no accident that I am here today. One of my goals as Israel's ambassador is to listen, learn, and connect with all parts of American society. And I believe that God guides us to these points in our lives. At my bar mitzvah, my designated passage from the Bible was from the book of Genesis. And the words, God created man in his own image, the understanding that all people are created equal, has guided me through my life. After this trip, it has made clear to me that we have so much in common, not only as human beings, but also as a community that holds the words of the Bible so close to its heart, and have experienced extreme persecution and prejudice over many centuries, but remained resilient and most importantly, hopeful. As happened on this bridge, I truly believe that uniting Jews and Black Americans and getting to know one another better will empower the holy struggle against racism and hatred. I would like to thank the Philos Project for organizing such a special encounter, and to everyone who shared their stories with me this trip. This is only the start of my journey. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Questions? Someone wants to ask questions?
Yes. So far, how has your trip been? Have you gotten any deeper insight into what black culture is like in the South and the connection with Israel?
Yeah, as I just explained, I came here first of all to learn, to study, to look at people's eyes and to deeply understand what they've gone through. And that is why I started my journey in Charleston, visiting the plantations and understanding what was slavery all about and how they suffered, and to really understand that the lifespan of many of them were between like 3 to 7 years. That was shocking to me to understand, and I think that will improve me to serve as an ambassador in the future to understand what those people have gone through. And now here, as I explained in Montgomery, I'm going to learn much more about the fight for equal rights, which is something that the Jewish people also fought for so many years, and we are still being discriminated against us and suffering from anti-Semitic attacks. It is all coming from the same hatred based on racism. So that's what we're doing.
So is there anything different that you've gotten so far that you didn't feel or know, when you left New York?
Yeah, it's a totally different thing. Yeah.
A different fit.
You can go and visit museums and read books, but it's never the same when you can tell that you really heard their personal stories of the people, that their ancestors and their family, and how they suffered. So the influence that it has on me is totally different.
On Bloody Sunday, it was the movie about Auschwitz prisoners camp that was playing when Bloody Sunday happened. Does that figure in anywhere?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
On Bloody Sunday, March 7th,
yeah.
when that took place, the movie on Auschwitz, the camp, the German camp, the prisoners camp, does that have any impact on your viewpoint in the connection between Selma and Israel?
I grew up in a family that 3 out of my 4 grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and 3 of them survived Auschwitz, and my grandfather, when he was brought to Auschwitz with his wife and 8 kids. So the Nazis murdered his 7 kids and his wife, and they kept him alive only because he was a farmer. He was very strong, and they could use him for whatever they needed. He was used to push wagons whenever they were stuck in the mud during winter. So I believe many of the Jewish people has personal stories like my family, but again, to learn about each other experience and history I think will improve my capabilities and the way I will function at the UN and here as Israel's ambassador to bring our communities closer together, and it will empower our struggle against racism, against human rights violations. That is what is so important for all of us here and for the Philos.
Next question.
Maybe one of you will
how special
questions.
How special is the relationship?
They are much more better than me in explaining whatever you want to hear. So I think it will be useful to hear them as well.
How special is the relationship between Israel?
Sorry?
How special is the relationship between Israel and the United States?
Yeah, I know. I think it's well known that Israel and the United States of America share the same values and interests, but to say it's not enough. You have to really to nurture it and to work with all communities here in the United States and that's what I felt that I need to do. This is my first priority as an ambassador because it's Black American History this month. So I decided to use it for my first formal trip and to visit the south of the United States and to learn about your history.
Can you talk about the seminary? Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can you talk about the seminary?
Before the ambassador leaves the mic, may I? Ambassador.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
James
for coming.
Perkins, Mayor of the city of Selma. And I wanted to do a couple of things. First, welcome you to our great city, all of you. You're welcome here. Secondly, yes, God created man. He created us in his image, male and female created he them. We share that same belief. Also, I recognize your goal, your mission is to understand the history of the people, of the communities which you have traveled. And I would like to just share a little bit about the people of Selma. We are a very peculiar people, not because of just what happened in 1965 here, but if you go back 100 years prior to that, to April of 1865, the last significant battle of the Civil War was fought right here in Selma, where you are standing right now. This is the only block that was actually remaining of our community. General Wilson, the Wilson Raiders came in to defeat the Confederate army. There was a Navy munitions plant here that resided on the river. That Navy munitions plant was important to conquer in order to end the Civil War. One of the first African Americans to serve in Congress, Benjamin Sterling Turner, managed the St. James Hotel just 2 blocks away from here. This is the history of our people. We then, at that moment in 1865, contributed to the emancipation of people of color across this nation and in the world. And then when you fast forward to March of 1965, once again, another ground zero experience occurs here in our community. We are a resilient people. We care, we love all people. We simply want our people and our stories to be known, and our people and our stories to be recognized, the significance of it. And so your coming to Selma today really embraces that. It helps us, and we thank you. Even though I know you feel that we are helping you, I want you to know that you're helping us. And so here, there is a proclamation. I won't take the time to read it, and I've just put a little pen there, something to remember us by. And I say for your success and your travels along the way, to God be the glory.
As you said, Mayor, my presence here is empowering you, as you said, but you also empower me with your words, and I also want to give you a thing that connects Israel and the United States. This alliance is stronger than anything you have.
I value it. Thank you. And as we continue this relationship that we started today, know that my heart and my mind are open. Let's continue this conversation. I think it is a very important one.
We will, I promise.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Robert Nicholson. I'm the president of the Philos Project. We're the host for this trip. I'll be very brief. Grateful to be here. Grateful to Mayor Perkins. Grateful to all of you, not only for hosting us to learn about what happened in 1965, but also to learn about what happened in Selma before that, and understanding the contribution of the people of Selma at the grassroots level. Most of what we do at the Philos Project is trying to educate American Christians from all communities about Israel and the Near East. And on this trip, we're doing it a little bit different. We're actually doing it upside down. And we're showing the ambassador of Israel this country. And you can't understand America without understanding American history. And of course, you can't understand American history without understanding Black history. And I would say you can't understand Black history without understanding the city of Selma. So we're very grateful to all of you for being here. And I'd like to end by introducing the director of our African American Affairs program, Ms. Christina King.
Good afternoon and thank you. We're so pleased to be a part of this historic visit with the ambassador. So grateful that he reached out to learn about the African American community, to learn about the history, and to learn about our community. It has been a great pleasure to take him both to Charleston and as we continue our journey here today. For him to invite us into his opportunity to learn about African American history and about our community, but we also reaching out to the African American community to continue with the great legacy of the relationship between the Black and Jewish community, and to continue to learn with the ambassador about the Jewish community and that alliance that we've had for so many years. And so we know that this country has had awakening of Black Lives Matter, but we also know that Black leadership matters. And so we invite African American leaders all over the nation into this relationship with Israel and with the Jewish community, and to continue that strong alliance and the victories that it has produced for this country. Thank you, Ambassador.
We will do a couple skills over here, so if you want to take some skills, come a little bit closer.
I think he's sitting, if we want to take closer pictures. Yeah.